Back to Tank contains adult language and discussions. If you're easily offended, do not continue.
We would be honored if you would join us.
How are you feeling? Your latest workups on your condition indicate that all damage has been reversed. Recovery is total. I believe you have been quite fortunate. No further thanks are necessary, Commander, but you are most welcome. It is my function and pleasure as a medical droid to help and heal human beings.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Star Wars From the Back to Tank. You can find our shows past and present on the Stitcher app. Just search Star Wars From the Back to Tank. Now, we're all excited here in studio because we're fresh off the new announcements, straight out of Star Wars Celebration, slammed with news that we're going to jump into. But we're going to start off with a review and breakdown of the Star Wars Force Awakens teaser trailer that was released last week. And then we're going to jump into all of the Star Wars Celebration news. A little bit of teaser here. Star Wars Rogue One news, which is part of what is now being called the Star Wars Anthology series. We'll get into that later. Star Wars Rebels news, which does include Darth Vader and the return of James Earl Jones. So there's much to discuss and analyze. But first, as I said, we are about to jump into the Force Awakens teaser. And I could just say right now that I'm not ashamed to say that I cried.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, dude.
I cried. I hyperventilated. I was lightheaded.
I felt like a bitch, dude.
Oh, dude.
Like, I'm not joking, dude. I'm so glad nobody was here with me when I watched it for the first time. It was like I completely watched it by myself.
It was like having the best sex you ever had, but without
right.
actually putting your dick in somebody.
It was more like, when you're gonna look at porn, you make sure no one's in the room, you shut the door, make sure the house door is double locked, you make sure your webcams are not on, you don't see the green light on, make sure the camera's on, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. I sat down, I had my tissue ready. It was just like I was getting ready to whack it.
Oh, dude, when I went into Celebration, because I was there from day one and on, we were all in line for the vendors hall, or the exhibitor/vendor hall, and they were streaming the J.J. Abrams panel, and we were watching that, and then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, and here's a teaser, and me and my friends were just like, oh my god, oh my.
Oh, so you had to watch it in front of everybody?
Yeah.
No, we were all watching it together. Like, we were all huddled around phones and everything.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a little gay, just because of the fact that all ended with you guys coming at the same time.
No, there were women in our group that were standing next to us.
Okay,
and everything.
All right, that makes it better.
So it was an orgy.
Yeah, it was a Star Wars orgy.
As long as none of your guy friends were actually looking at you while you
don't look at me.
Yeah.
Don't look at me.
Don't you look at me.
Hey, David, I put the show notes you're not shared on the new show notes for some reason. I don't know why. So I just gave you a link.
Cool.
Yeah. So they so when that was done, we were like, holy shit, and especially the last scene, which we'll get to. That was it. Everybody that was watching on the live feed was cheering, and then everybody found out it was on their YouTube. Like literally right after. So then you started hearing pockets of people yell and like scream and enjoy. And I would always just start fucking with people like, they just watched it. Those guys over there.
We should do like a recording. I said this on Rayman Show. Is this Zayn from One Direction leaving the band, or is this somebody that just got done watching Star Wars: The Force Awakens trailer? You decide.
Dude, you should.
Man, that's so awesome, man. The power of Star Wars. Nobody reacts to trailers like this but us.
Dude, I was so excited and we're gonna break down shot for shot here, but it's funny because the entire teaser was awesome. I'm like, oh yeah, sweet. Mark Hamill's voiceover. This is sweet. This is great. And then what just solidified it was Han Solo ending it, and I was done.
And I still watch it now. Like,
you still
on my
get
Apple
chills.
TV, like they have the trailers app, and it's one of the first trailers on there. Like new trailers. I'm like, yes, please. There's like the new Spectre for James Bond. I'm like, oh screw that.
I heard they're actually considering putting it on ujiz.com as well.
Yeah. I hear it's already the number one video on Pornhub. So.
Pornhub's everywhere.
Oh man.
But no, and every time it goes to that black, where Han and Chewie come in, I still get like a grin, like like a fucking little kid, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
dude,
sure.
you should. If you guys did, the way I saw it was actually on the live feed from StarWars.com.
Yeah, that's what in line. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, and when they did the pan of the crowd, I kept cracking up because as soon as the lights went up, literally everyone was like crying.
Oh yeah,
Because it's a thing of beauty.
Grown men,
I couldn't.
kids.
I just couldn't do it in front of someone. I would not. If someone, even if I ended up making it to Star Wars Celebration like you guys did, I would have excused myself in the room and watched it later because I just did. I know. I do. I remember how I am when I watch trailers in the theater, and I remember this day my ex-girlfriend said, "Do you have goosebumps right now?" Like because I was watching a teaser for Superman Returns, years ago, and I was like, "Oh my god." Kent is on. It says Kent on the mailbox. This is Superman. And I'm like, and immediately I get goosebumps. And my girlfriend looks at me and she's all, "Do you got goosebumps right now?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No." So ever since then, man, I'm very careful at what I watch and who I watch it in front of. I'm telling you, it's exactly like porn.
But Mike, okay, what was better though? The feeling you got from this, or the feeling? Remember when me and you talked about it a long time ago on one of the shows? About when we first saw episode 1, the teaser for episode 1.
I think this was a greater sensation of joy, and I think, and not because I remember how I felt when I saw Phantom Menace and Darth Maul's double lightsaber. I was so ecstatic, so excited. But the reason why this is different is not only is it Star Wars, which always gets you a bona fide Woody, okay, but there's a nostalgia. Mark Hamill's voiceover, seeing R2 again, even though we've seen 100 of times now, seeing R2 and then the Harrison Ford, seeing the Stormtroopers, the TIE Fighters, it was everything you ever wanted to see in Star Wars, pretty much. And what you wanted to see again that you missed in the prequels. And I think that's why it was such a big deal to so many people.
Yeah.
And that was the question that actually I got asked by a lot of people after seeing the teaser. Because everyone was like going, is this better feeling than when we got the prequels?
This was like a virgin.
Yeah.
It felt tight.
It felt tight.
A
born-again virgin.
I keep going back to the sexual analogies here. Obviously, you guys know how I viewed this. All right, on that note, we do need to jump into this. So we are going to start with the first shot, and we're going to work our way through to the end. There is roughly, I counted, 20 to 25 shots in the trailer with a total running time of 1 minute and 49 seconds. Now, some of the shots appear to be in sequential order. So for the purpose of this discussion and the review, we're going to discuss them as sequence shots, just because there's a lot of connective shots together. It wasn't like the first teaser we got, which was shot, shot, shot. These actually has some shot sequences in there as well. Now, let's start with the Lucasfilm title card.
Boner.
Oh yeah.
That's the excitement right there because it's like I don't want to say like official teaser, but like this is now.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I complained about in the first teaser. I was like, well, that wasn't a real teaser. We didn't even get the Lucasfilm, and I called it for the last almost 2 years. I said there will be no Disney logo on this. I said it, and it won't. I guarantee you, it will not be on the movie either. It won't.
Yeah,
this isn't a Disney movie.
They would have done it in this teaser if they did.
This isn't Pirates of the Caribbean that says, oh, it's a Disney production. This is a Lucasfilm production. Now, it may have something in the credits, like in conjunction with Disney, yada, yada, yada,
might
studios.
Be like copyright Lucasfilm, copyright Disney.
Right. You're not going to have the Disney castle. That's done. If we didn't see it in here, we're not going to have it.
You might have it at the end credits.
Possibly.
But Mike,
possibly.
Also on top of the title card, it's the music too. The music that went with the title card. Because that was the signal.
Yep.
And, we just came off of a show or a couple shows ago where we talked about John Williams. That, just hearing that song gives you a boner.
Yeah.
And without the music, I don't know. The title card is great, but the music also helps.
Oh, you got to have it. Yeah. Now, I should have said this at the beginning. This is being called Teaser 2. Okay, this is not even the official trailer yet.
I don't care.
Oh my God.
So just imagine,
blue balls.
Just imagine what the trailer is going to be like.
There's no blue balls. It's like when you start seeing that one girl and she starts off, she just kind of gives you a blowy every once in a while.
God, we're nerds. We keep bringing it back to sex,
and she teases you for a bit, and then once we get the final trailer, that's like the full blown now you can put it in.
Right. Now, apparently, the movie will in fact be in 3D as well, as you saw at the end of the trailer. And that was the kind of a question that a lot of fans were having. Like, will this in fact be 3D? Because as we know, J.J. Abrams shoots film. Okay, he actually shoots film stock, not digital, and he's doing the same thing with this, except for a few choice shots he's shooting on the IMAX camera.
Yes.
So they're going. It's not going to be true 3D, even though they're calling it True 3D is the name of the branding of the 3D company, because you can't shoot film in 3D. So they're going to go back. That's how much additional post production they have to do. Imagine how much post production work they have now. With the visual effects and all that. Now they have to go back and redo the entire movie frame by frame in 3D. So, and of course, this isn't going to be no schlub doing the 3D. They're going to make sure this 3D looks gorgeous.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to go. I mean, they've probably spent a ton of money on training ILM, or ILM's probably already has their own system.
Oh yeah.
Well, and how they're doing. I mean, like it's so it's not going to come out where it's like ILM did the basic cut. They did the the non 3D, and then you've got company B. Somewhere doing the 3D, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, we love Star Wars, so we figured we'd take time with it."
Well, it's gonna be interesting though, because there's filmmakers out there that won't do 3D if they want to shoot film. Favreau was one of them for Cowboys and Aliens. He specifically said, the studio said, "Well, we want this to be 3D." I'm like, and he says, "Well, my chosen format to shoot this is film, and basically you're faking 3D when you shoot film, so I'm going to pass on 3D. Sorry, studio. If you want me to do this, then I'm going to shoot this film and not 3D, because it's fake. It's fake 3D. It's not. You're not using 3D cameras." So when you have directors saying no to that because they say it doesn't look right, it's going to make you wonder, what type of work are they going to do? Is ILM, are they creating more technology to make it look right? Because they're known for just, them and James Cameron and some of the bigwigs are known for every new movie they do. They're known for creating new technology to do something they wanted to do.
Well, and then you and I touched on this when we talked about Big Hero 6. I mean, it's not an animated feature, or no, Star Wars isn't animated, but we talked about how Pixar created their own new rendering.
Right. A lot of studios do that.
They created I think two new pieces of software. One was rendering. I think one was also for like creation, or for like effects, like for hair and everything like that. That for particles, that it was all brand new software that they created for when they were doing Big Hero 6. So I wouldn't be surprised if ILM got kind of got some training on True 3D or whatever the technology is, and sat there and said, okay, if we're gonna have to go back and do this on film, how can we do this to where it doesn't look hokey? Right. And it looks right.
Well, that's going to be something that we definitely want to look forward to. Like everyone, it's kind of funny because a lot of the technical stuff are being swept under the rug because a lot of people are just interested in the story and what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting once this comes out to actually learn a little bit more about the technical side, because they have to be doing something different. Every Star Wars film that has come out has created something new that has become a standard. Now, that could also be George Lucas's genius. Let's remember, yes, J.J. Abrams is a great director, but he's not George Lucas in the fact that George Lucas was a creative force behind cinema. And he actually helped propel cinema in all avenues: screen resolution, audio, cameras. He himself and what he wanted to do actually paved the way for how a lot of the things are done today.
Right. Yeah.
So are we going to see that? Even this latest movie, Revenge of the Sith, when Revenge of the Sith was being announced it's going to be coming out, George Lucas said, if you don't upgrade your system to the audio that I want you to show this film in, guess what, guys? You theaters out there, you will not be showing Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. So if you want to, you better buy this new system for all your theaters.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to do something like that with this movie.
I don't think that it'll go like that type of technical. It might go technical in another area, because if you think about it, J.J. Abrams is also, you got to remember that J.J. Abrams is behind the thinking of process of this, and J.J. literally kept reiterating during his panel, practical. He's going practical. Yeah. So he's making movements, probably not in the technical side that we're thinking, but probably technical side and maybe makeup.
Yeah,
maybe visual effects.
But with that too. But if he's taking the film and they're doing 3D and they're having to do it in a way where they have to go back and rework the film,
there may be a new form of technology coming out.
There will be.
that
There
they
will
have to
be.
project it in, because the normal True 3D might not be able to handle it, or it might not be able to project it as it needs to be. But
This is one of those movies that you're definitely going to want to buy the DVD or the Blu-ray and make sure you get all the extras and find out exactly how and
I
what
plan
they
on
did.
finding out when they're going to release the art of Episode 7. I'm going to buy that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right, let's jump into these shots here. Okay, shot 1 starts with a wide scraping landscape shot. We see a speeder flying cross screen, which leads the camera to a shot of an X-Wing that's in the foreground, crashed, and a Super Star Destroyer. I'm assuming it's a Super Star Destroyer. It looks like it, right?
That was a Super Star Destroyer.
That has crashed into the dunes within the background. Now, I put in as a footnote there, this was possibly the shot that was filmed on the IMAX cameras. It looks like that type of shot. Imagine seeing that shot in the theater.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember, JJ tweeted out the IMAX camera hovering above the dunes.
Yep.
And he says there's at least one shot, is what we had heard. There's at least one shot, a wide shot, obviously, that was shot by IMAX. And I'm wondering if that shot was actually it, because that shot was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, by this time I was already breathing heavily, and this just like this made my blood pressure shoot up. Like I was, oh my god!
I was already saying, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
All right, so give me your, how we're going to do this is continue, but give me your thoughts in 30 seconds. Otherwise, we're going to stay on this for an hour.
So with this, when it pans everything and it shows, obviously it's the remnants of a huge battle, and we'll touch on this on everything else, but for everybody that's watching, this has already been said that this is not Tatooine.
Yeah, it's Jaka.
I thought it was Jakku, which is the
Jakku.
new planet. But what's great about it is just the sheer size of everything, because you see the speeder compared to the X-wing.
The scaling is amazing,
awesome, and it just
that's exactly what I was going to say.
And it just shows how big this this battle was, and if they show more of it, we're probably going to see more fighters just downed everywhere.
Yeah.
So this is a great scene to start off with.
David.
Pretty much reiterating what Greg said. I mean, like, this is the shot that catches everyone's eye. Like, just like what Greg said, we weren't expecting to see the X-Wing and the Super Star Destroyer, and definitely it definitely forced the fans to realize this isn't Tatooine. This is a different planet, because Tatooine never had something like this happen. And just the scale of everything, like what you guys said, this is going to be a really epic movie. This honestly, that shot was just telling the viewers that we're going to try to hit a home run.
Yeah. Dustin.
Another happy landing. Well, it also looks like it's been there for quite a while.
Yeah.
It's from an older battle. It wasn't anything recent.
Right.
That's what really stands out to me about it. Just like everyone else said, just its pure size.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, and now to add to that that's one thing that immediately made this trailer for me is, first off, you look from the technical standpoint, as Greg mentioned, the scaling is, of course, it's Star Wars. And I guarantee you that Star Destroyer is either a miniature, either a digital mat. I doubt it's an actual physical mat. That's almost like archaic. That's either a digital mat of an actual miniature, or a physical miniature, and that's how they shot it. Regardless, you can tell it looks like it's there, and the fact that the scaling was so spot on with the speeder flying by, you have the X-Wing in the foreground and the Star Destroyer in the back, it says so much with the image. It shows it's post-war. It's post-war, and that's one thing that you always wonder, when these ships crash, I mean, it's just like every war. Planes, dead people, corpses, it litters the battlefield. And you would think that after, it's one thing we didn't get to see after the war against the Separatists and the Republic, but it would make sense that you would see
some down ships. And
it just sets the tone. It sets the tone. It's an aftermath feeling, and it shows that this is a much more of this is a continuation story just by seeing that.
Yeah.
And that time has moved on, and yet there's the relics.
Yeah.
Okay, second shot, amazing. Darth Vader's mask. David.
Darth Vader's mask, very, very mysterious. I mean, this shot by itself was the one that caused a lot of talk and chatter around fans during the convention, because, as everyone said, well, we saw Darth Vader, basically the remnants of Darth Vader get burned up. Is this where did someone find the funeral pyre of Luke's? You know, where is this where the, you know, damaged, crushed helmet of Darth Vader is? And then someone, of course, because Star Wars fans are that knowledgeable, had to point out, well, if Darth Vader was burned, his body was burned and basically sent back to the Force.
Right.
Why is the helmet still here?
Well, why would the helmet be here? It's just like Obi-Wan's robe was still there.
No, because like the thing is like someone pointed out that that's Darth Vader. The mask is Darth Vader's body still.
No, that's a stupid fan that said that.
And someone pointed that out, and basically people were talking about, well, does this mean that Vader didn't really redeem himself because his entire body didn't actually go back to the Force?
His body did go to the Force. That's a mechanical suit. That's not his physical being. You know what I mean? Like,
they're robotic.
That's what I was like saying. Is like
the thing though. The thing with
that's like saying Obi-Wan's robe is part of him, and that should have went with him as well.
Right. Well,
and Yoda. What about Yoda and his cane? Did his cane go away when he died? No, it was there. Fans are stupid.
Like
fans are just detailed, dude. Because you
that's
gotta
not
remember,
detail. That's stupidity.
Well, with
robot parts are not alive.
But like with this shot, this kind of, going from shot 1 to shot 2 was that you go from shot 1 where it shows this Star Destroyer, this X-wing, it shows an old war. And then Vader's mask kind of shows this is the old evil,
remnants,
the old, darkness that had covered the galaxy. So I wish I could just jump. I wish I could just kind of segue into shot 3, but we haven't heard from you or Das, but because that's what I want to build. That's kind of what I think it builds on.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. Every single shot up until the lightsaber being handed off is showing you what has happened and what has transpired.
Yeah, and this is almost kind of where everybody's at. And so, Darth Vader's mask kind of shows.
No.
Now, again, is this his original? Now, because Vader he might have had other like helmets. They had to be replaced. They might have had issues. So, it doesn't really show us. It's only his helmet, and
it's only his helmet. And
it could be where
it's him, Greg.
Okay,
and also you got to also throw in the fact that it's going with the narration. Remember what the whole narration is
right. My father had it.
My father had it. Okay, shows Darth Vader.
Which.
So
Mike and Das, let's get your opinions on this Darth Vader mask thing, because me and David are trying to jump into shot 3 here.
Go ahead, shot 2, Dustin. Thoughts on it?
Well, all I was going to say is it's Darth Vader's helmet and his suit and his robotics. They're not just a life support system; they're armor. So it's not impossible to think that when he was burned on the pyre on Endor, that a fire. It's going to take the flesh and stuff, but it's not going to take his freaking armor.
No.
That armor is ridiculous.
The crushed eye hole. I mean, maybe an Ewok got horny one night.
Well, oh my god!
What if an Ewok was actually using? What if that scene's just because the Ewoks aren't using that as a drum too now?
Yub nub.
Here we thought it was something so epic.
Toki will be oh Buck Vader Hokata.
If George Lucas was actually directing this, you'd pan out from that Darth Vader mask, it'd be an Ewok using it as a drum. So bad.
Or it'd be Hayden Christensen like bowing his head.
All right. So my thoughts on the mask is much like Greg's. It was nice. All these shots are lending to what has transpired, as I said, the aftermath. This is what has happened, and yet it still lives on. It's like history. When something massive happens, it lingers. It doesn't just go away in 20, 30 years. We remember World War II still, and all the Jewish individuals that were murdered by Hitler. Those things you don't forget. 9/11, you don't forget these things. And this is this guy.
9 what?
This is what's that?
9 what?
9/11.
America!
Huh?
So stupid. And the same thing with Darth Vader. This is an iconic figurehead in this universe that you can't just sweep under the rug. All right, next shot, R2 and possibly Luke. If you noticed, when he's reaching for R2, it's the robot hand. Now, is that his right? Was it his right hand?
It was his right hand.
It was his right hand.
Okay.
Yes.
So that could possibly be Luke, and also starts making you think, possibly, what has Luke been through? The fact that he has, if it is Luke, why he has no flesh on his hand anymore. It means that he's been through the mill. Maybe he's been fighting people, and he hasn't had the civilness of a normal lifestyle where he can just go back to 2-1B and get flesh put back onto his robot arm or a robot hand.
I think with
it's a little more post-apocalyptic, and that's kind of what you get almost from all these shots.
Right.
It's a very post-apocalyptic universe now.
Like with this shot with him with R2 and I'm going to say it's Luke, at a fire. Like it's almost kind of like Luke has taken that hermit type of hermit or like wanderer type of persona where
the Obi-Wan persona,
Obi-Wan or Yoda, where he's kind of out on the fringe. Like he doesn't want to be like he's around, but he doesn't want to be known, or he doesn't want people to find him.
Right.
So it's kind of what I like about it is that it's like he's still with R2, unlike Obi-Wan, who can't remember that he owned a droid. Bastard.
True.
And he's sitting there and they're talking. He says things where it kind of lets you know, like, here's Luke and R2, but then now you go, well, what about 3PO?
Yeah. Where is 3PO? Is he dead with Jar Jar?
Oh,
David, thoughts?
Honestly, just taking into context with the narration and everything, I'm going to be like Greg and basically say, yeah, this is Luke. Everyone's been talking about the hand and how it's different. And
what, is it different?
Everyone's basically said, and when you take a good look at it, it's a different hand.
How did we ever? Okay, you got what fans are you listening to, David, this week? I mean, first off, Luke's hand. Did we ever see Luke's actual robot hand?
I always remember seeing.
All we ever saw was the little part here that 2-1B was fixing up,
and the glove,
and he wore a glove.
Remember, he wore a glove.
I know.
So we never saw the actual robotics underneath.
Yeah. So how can people
the thing about the robotics?
David, quit reading troll sites.
Wait, no, but did he get it cut off when he fought Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi?
No. It hit him. It nicked him, and he saw part of it.
And you saw part of it.
Okay.
But basically, when you take a look at the hand actually fits the technology, what you would expect 30 years later, though.
So he got it replaced. So he got an upgrade.
He could have gotten it replaced.
I don't know. To me, it looked exactly like underneath his skin when he closed it up. That's just my thoughts, though.
I don't know, dude. Because I think that
what did you possibly see in that hand that looks like 30 years advanced technology? That is it holographic? Does it jack you off automatically?
I think with this and hearing what fans say, it's just like we're sitting here doing, and we're breaking it down.
Let's keep this to our thoughts, not what we read on a fan site.
But honestly, when I take a look at it, it does look like it's an advance in technology. Because but
look at R2. I mean, to me, it looks like it's Luke. It's probably Luke, and that hand looks kind of haggard. But look at R2. He's older. He's beat up.
But he's still kicking. He is still kicking.
But they've been nowhere that he could be fixed.
Yeah.
So
Luke might
maybe
have
that's why there's no flesh on Luke's hand, because they've been nowhere to where they could.
That's what I got from. I got it like they've been on a long journey. Maybe the old hand wore out and he's lost the flesh and it's just mechanical. Maybe he's fixed himself. I mean, who knows? I didn't get that it was new technology at all. Like, everybody's obsessed. Everybody in the Star Wars, I see it all over the place, not just David. I see it all over the place, that everybody's obsessed with, I could tell in 30 years the technology's a lot different here. And I'm like, who gives a flying fuck? Obviously, technology, not you, David. I'm talking about the fans I'm reading. I'm not not you. I'm just, like, everyone's so obsessed with, I don't know if the TIE fighter would be that much different in 30 years. I'm like, what the fuck do you know? Are you an actual aircraft engineer? Jesus.
And theoretically, these aircraft
look at us in 30 years. What have we seen different since I've been born? Television and cell phones, okay? We're still driving on 4 wheels on rubber. So
I want my fucking hoverboard.
So what has changed in 30 years? When you really think about it, like, technology wouldn't advance that fast unless some alien race that didn't listen to the Prime Directive decide to get involved in our advancement of mankind.
This is true.
This is true. This is very true.
So David always gets me mad with the troll talk. You always bring up trolls in here, and that's what I see.
I didn't even bring up any troll hate.
You said what I've been hearing from fans.
Like,
You just said that a minute ago, David.
Yeah, but not all fans are trolls. Not all fans are trolls.
No,
You're
listen.
fucking kidding me,
But
really?
the things that the fans like get on is the TIE fighters I saw and the way Stormtrooper blasters. I don't think it would advance that like that in 30 years. It should have been more advancement. I'm like, 30 years. Look at us. As I said, we have not advanced that much in 30 years either. I mean, look at us. Okay, fuck 30 years. In 100 years, we've had more advancement in 100 years. And that we've had in all of our history, okay? Because sometime between Jesus and the Old West, we decided never to develop technology for some reason.
Wait, is that Jesus or Yeezus?
Jesus. So stupid. All right. God. Thank you, David. David knows how to get old Mike back out here.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh, great. Yeah. So thankfully I'll be headed out when we get to Battlefront or something. I'll fucking stab David.
All right. So lightsaber being handed from one person to another. We're not quite sure who it was. Although I looked at the hands, the woman hand. It looked like a woman's hand that was handing the lightsaber off to the other woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because I looked at those hands.
Yeah.
They look pretty delicate.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm wondering if it's possibly Princess Leia handing it to Daisy Ridley's character, or vice versa, or maybe some female character we haven't been introduced to yet, maybe her daughter, or I don't know. Go ahead,
knows.
Dustin.
No, it's. I think the lightsaber is being handed to Carrie Fisher because at this point in Mark Hamill speaking, he says, "My sister has it," and the lightsaber gets handed over to her, and that looks like a kind of a chubby hand.
But before he says it, he says, "And you have it now."
No, that was after.
No, that was after.
That was
this.
after the
That was
lightsaber.
after
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
Dos, are you spanking it while you're watching it right now?
Oh, I'm. Don't interrupt me.
Here, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Hold on.
That lightsaber's in surprisingly good shape for what it's supposedly been through.
Yeah, it's actually afterwards. He says, "My sister has it."
I have it. My sister has it.
Now, is that a woman's hand? Is it a woman's hand being? Are those both women?
It looks like.
Yes.
Okay, so what woman would be passing it to Carrie? Are you saying Carrie Fisher's handing it to someone, or is that Carrie Fisher taking it?
I'm saying it's Carrie Fisher taking it. She's probably looking at the lightsaber and saying, "I know this lightsaber."
Huh, interesting. Oh, okay. You're going from that angle. I get it. Okay. Now, just forget about who it is for a moment and just look at the sheer, poetry of this shot. I mean, it kind of sticks the way they put this teaser together, specifically with this shot, because after this shot, you go to all the new people and they're handing the torch. It may end up going to what the rumors have been, and the focus is more or less going to be more on the new people than actually the old cast. And or as we originally said as well in a show, and rumors from Star Wars 7 News and other sites have stated that, yes, after Episode 7, we're going to see the focus fall more on the newer cast, the new characters. And if you look at the teaser trailer, how this is set up, this entire trailer is designed in that aspect. From the beginning to the end, you see it's been kind of a passing of a torch.
Yeah.
And especially with that shot. That shot's very poetic.
Look at her ring.
Oh, damn.
You notice the ring?
Somebody got married. So stupid.
No, it looks like a Corellian Corvette.
Oh, yeah. Better put a ring on it, Dust. So stupid.
If it's Carrie Fisher, no.
Oh.
All right, so next shot, X-Wings fly across water, cuts to another shot of a pilot, which is that, what actor is that? I always forget his
That's
name.
Oscar Isaacs.
Oscar Isaacs. Okay. Thoughts on that shot, David? I mean, we've kind of seen that shot, a similar shot before in the first teaser.
This one was a bit more in depth, and I did like the fact that we got to see Poe Dameron, who is Oscar Isaacs.
Is that his name? Okay.
Yeah, Poe Dameron. And then, honestly, this got me really hyped, actually seeing all the X-Wings all in action. Like, this literally
the whole
formation,
squadron,
the
yeah.
squadron. And one of the things that I really did like is, like, there's all the X-Wings look different.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually look at it, each of the X-Wings actually look different. And in some of the pictures, I don't know if you could actually see it, you have, like, multiple colored X-Wings. Like, there's a black X-Wing.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's cool.
And honestly, that really got me hyped. That gives me the memory of, like, the old Rogue Squadron books and everything.
It'd be like Oh, it could always be like Robotech. We have Skull Leader.
See, there's a whole different way, and going on what you said, David, because I agree. Like, it kind of brings you back on the whole Rogue Squadron thing, and it kind of makes you wonder that we look at Star Wars totally different now. Meaning, you don't. There was always a bigger meaning to the Star Wars fans when you watch Star Wars because I remember they talked about that in a comic book once, or I saw something like that in the book. Yeah. You know, now we already know that they're going to be setting up things that are going to be interconnected. Yeah. So for all we know, we may end up seeing this rogue group, the X-wings. We may end up seeing them in a movie down the road. Yeah. You don't know. So now we're going to be looking at these shots. I kind of like that character in episode 7.
Star Wars Flyboys.
And you're gonna. We don't. Who knows? We're all just like we look at Avengers and everything. We look at Avengers now. And you watch those movies, you're like, I wonder if they can make a spinoff on that. You watch a TV show, I wonder if they can make a spinoff of that. And it's the same way now. When we watch Star Wars Episode 7, we're gonna obviously the first time we watch it, we're not gonna think like that. We're just gonna be watching it because we're so excited. But then we go back and we're like, okay, was that shot? And maybe that character that had one line for no reason. Are we gonna see that character? Is she gonna be important later down the road? So it's gonna be kind of fun to watch this in a whole other way because we're gonna be able to find these Easter eggs even more. They're gonna actually matter for real now.
Well, and what's nice is that with the new universe that Disney is kind of creating, is that they can layer these Easter eggs in whatever we're reading.
Yeah.
And, like stuff they're reading in like a New Dawn, they can reference it, they're going to reference it. They can reference in, this saying, years ago there was one lone Jedi or whatever that, or something,
Mm-hmm.
they can talk about Kanan and bring him up or whatever.
Which will be awesome. Like, that will be so cool. Just little things like that. And they have to. And and we'll get into that later too.
But with, I was going to go ahead and just talk about the next shot, but
no, it's all right. Dustin, what's your thoughts on the X-wing shot? We don't want to skip.
It's definitely different from the first teaser trailer we had. Yeah. This one looks like Poe Dameron is maybe a little younger, and this may be the first time he's actually flying this X-wing because this is a different X-wing that's in the other trailer.
Is it?
Yeah, the background of it is a little bit different. And in the first teaser trailer, he's a little bit banged up, like he's seen some action. Right now, he just looks like, yay, I'm in a fucking X-wing, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
yay,
that's kind of what I got from it. Like, it was almost like maybe possibly this scene's actually maybe a training exercise, or maybe the first time he actually gets into the X-wing, because they're doing tricks. They're playing around. They're not going to be doing that stuff and hollering, I don't think, during a battle, do you think?
Yeah, cut the chatter.
Ballsy.
Yeah, that's true. I love, though, one thing about that shot is it stays true to what we've come to expect in Star Wars. There's always that yelling, yee!
Yeah, I got one question, though, about that entire shot.
Yeah.
Which one of them is the new Porkins?
So stupid.
Son of Porkins.
Porkins.
That's another anthology.
That would be the worst idea ever.
It's
made for TV movie.
Porky.
Coming from Lucasfilm. You loved Porkins. No! But what about his son?
All right, so shot 6 and 8. Let's start with Dustin this time. Kylo Ren slashes his lightsaber across screen. Kylo uses the Force with stormtroopers in the background, so we know he is connected in some way to the Empire. Now, as a footnote, before we break down this shot, there's a bit of news that we should actually say. It has been confirmed officially that the Empire is no longer known as the Empire.
Yes.
They are called the First Order, and the Rebel Alliance is now called the Resistance. And one thing that I liked about that a lot is that makes sense. You see different incarnations of militaries, groups, and militias all the time, how they slowly change into other things.
Yes.
And so that makes a lot of sense. David, or Dustin, go and start us off on this shot.
Okay, well, it happens very quickly. All you get to see is, him slashing across the screen. But like you said, in the background, there's the new stormtroopers, and they have their weapons at the low ready, which means they're not going to be attacking anything. So they're basically watching Kylo Ren do something naughty.
Yeah.
Which means he's in the front as well, which means he's probably in a leadership position.
Yeah. That's what I got immediately from that shot. I immediately got the fact that he's leading this group. So, which we're going to break down that more in the second half of the show. We're going to talk about some confirmed rumors, spoilers about Kylo Ren's character and his connection to the First Order and the Stormtroopers. So, Greg, since you were excited, let's go ahead and start with you. What did you think on shots 6 and 8? Give us a quick breakdown and then your quick thoughts.
I really like that they keep showing him more and more. What I like even better is that you don't see his face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they're going with kind of the Darth Raven figure, kind of thing where it's the mask.
Are you thinking that possibly this may make sense on the second half of the show? You're not going to be in, but it may be Raven's mask. Okay, because if you've read up on what Kylo Ren does,
yes,
may make sense.
Could be.
Yeah. So
but what I like about it is that I like that it shows that the Empire basically is still ran by the Sith. That it's still, it's the Empire, but they still have the Sith involved. That it's still the Sith kind of in that seat of power.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm thinking, but it could be something completely different. I mean, there's just so many things I can go off on. It's like, oh, this is why. But this scene itself is just great because it shows that it's almost kind of like how Darth Maul was. Darth Maul was like, straightforward. I'm here to take down Jedi. I'm going to do whatever my master commands. And, Kylo Ren seems to be a step above that, like where he's like unwavering in what he needs to do.
Right.
And I think that'll play into why the Empire became the First Order.
Yep. Okay, David.
Honestly, I'm really excited, especially when we got the news about the name of the new faction, the New Order.
That was announced at Star Wars Celebration, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
But like, I actually am really excited to see about Kylo Ren because I don't want to speculate about this character. Like, as you said, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, it's Darth Revan's mask."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to say that because if I have it in my head that that's Darth Revan's mask, and it turns out it's not going to be, it's like a letdown.
Yeah.
But honestly, the visuals of Kylo Ren have been great, and I think they've done a great job of keeping him really more mysterious than even when we first saw Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first saw Darth Maul, we knew what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren, it's different. There's someone behind that mask that we don't know about yet. Yeah, he can wield a sword, but I mean, like, what really does make this character that powerful to the point that, the new soldiers, the new stormtroopers follow him?
Yeah.
Because, in all intents and purposes, the stormtroopers look really badass on their own.
In order to make this discussion easier for us, let's just say what he's supposed to do, okay? We're jumping ahead, but supposedly, based on reports, Kylo Ren is actually assuming the identity of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
He's trying to convince the first, what is it called, the First Order. He's trying to convince them that he's Vader, and he has been going around the galaxy in search of relics, Sith relics and Jedi relics. I guess in order to gain power, maybe he's the one who's actually has acquired Darth Vader's mask for whatever reason. Because yes, it's just a mask, but we all know, unless they retconned it for whatever reason, it's much like demon possession and spiritistic objects. That's how the Force is. If something was owned by a Jedi Knight or a Dark Lord, usually their presence lingers around this object. So it makes you... So obviously, if Kylo Ren's character is obsessed with collecting relics, it's for the use of power and gaining power. Yeah. And maybe by owning Darth Vader's mask, he now has some source of power from Darth Vader, or maybe even has a way to contact him and talk to him.
Yeah.
Okay, so who knows, man? That's why this is fucking awesome.
I know. That's why I'm like going, every time I see Kylo Ren, I'm like going, God, I hope he's real badass. Because, I get this really edgy feeling, especially after, we've had the Darth Maul thing where it's like Darth Maul was gone after one movie.
Yeah.
I would be so disappointed if Kylo Ren was gone after one movie.
I don't think he will be. I kind of have an idea that JJ is going to take any annoyances that Star Wars fans have had, which has been always Star Wars fans' annoyances, that you get these cool characters and they're dead in one movie. Gone. JJ is us. You got to remember this. J.J. Abrams is us. He is a Star Wars fan, and I think he's going to do away with the little annoyances that we always got.
Yeah. So I've actually got to go, but I want to throw this out, and this is actually, I'm going to throw this out for you guys to think about with Shot 9. I'm sorry I'm skipping ahead, but if you look at the Imperial banner and the logo that the New Order has, and then if you look at the new Jedi Order, which are the gray Jedi as people call them,
yes.
If you look at their symbol as well, they're slightly similar.
Yeah.
So it might end up being like you were talking about for the last months. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Anyways, that is it. I'll probably write something on the rest of my review of this.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
See you guys.
See you later, Greg.
All right. So, David, going back to that, I mean, that could be Darth Raven's mask. And Dustin, that could be Darth Raven's mask, because if Kylo Ren, if the rumors are true, and Kylo Ren goes around the galaxy looking for Sith relics, that could be the connection.
That could be the connection. That could be really
yeah, and
cool.
if it's an ancient relic, that certainly fits the timeline for being ancient. Darth Revan was way, way before all of this happened. Like, way before.
And we also got confirmation on breaking down the shot more, is that lightsaber, it's less beam and more of a fiery, it's almost flat as well, right? Is it slightly flat? If you look at it from the side, it's not flat like a sword completely, but it is a lot thinner in width. Like, the width is the same as a lightsaber, but the circumference measurement...
Like, it's almost like it has an edge.
Yeah, yeah. Did you guys notice that? Or is that just me?
Well, yeah. Well, that goes back to the original trilogy. The lightsabers then were more flat-bladed.
Yeah.
Even in Star Wars Rebels, where they were staying true to the original trilogy.
And if we go...
The beams are a little bit more flat, but the the fire looks fucking badass.
Yeah, I mean, it is in... I looked at that shot where Kylo Ren comes up with his hand, and you look at that lightsaber, it's slightly flat. It's not as thick as lightsabers have been, and it is on fire. It is just like we said originally, it's like a fire's wrapped around a blade.
Yeah. And
which is fantastic, man.
The thing that has me really excited too is the fact that if we go with the story like what you pointed out, Mike, like he's hunting down relics, that sword is a special sword.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. What if it's not even his saber that he created?
It might
what
not
if
even
it's something...
be his saber.
Oh, dude.
So it's
and that
another
would make
fallen
sense.
Sith saber.
That would make sense why it's so old school looking. That if it is in fact an ancient relic. Oh, dude. What if this guy's just a scrub, basically a Jawa, dude? He just goes around picking up. He's oh yeah, that shit's
He's
mine
just a
now.
trash collector.
That lightsaber's mine. hide your jewelry. He comes Day Day. Or what's the from Friday? What's that character's name?
Oh, Nene.
No.
Debo.
He's like the Debo of Star Wars.
Hey, what you got on my ride?
He just goes around taking people's shit. Oh man! All right, next shot. Daisy Ridley and John Boyega running while explosions are seen in the background. This will be shot 7 and 17. There seems to be a clear connection between their characters. Obviously, they're going to be the duo team. Their storylines are interconnected. Daisy Ridley, it's her planet, as sources have confirmed that a lot of this movie takes place on. At least the scenes we've seen, the shots that we've seen, that a lot of people are thinking was Tatooine. It's in fact, what's the name of the city?
Jakku.
Jakku? Is that they're pronouncing it?
Yeah.
It's in fact Jakku, which I think is awesome because they say that the war, it used to be like a different type of planet, but because of war that took place above the planet, and because so much debris has crashed onto the planet, it has turned her planet into basically a hive of scum and villainy, as they said in this article. And that's kind of like her dealing with the change in her planet. We're going from a normal place where normal people lived in a civil manner to a scavengers. It's become a scavenger planet. So that'll be interesting how that plays into the movie.
Yeah. And it goes with what, if that's Kylo Ren's motivation, a junk planet.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that. He's
That's
there possibly for the same reason.
There, because he wants to get those relics.
That makes sense.
I just wanted to say about the shot. First off, she is so fine. Second,
she is kind of hot. I wasn't gonna say, I didn't think so at first, but now on in the behind the scenes photos, I didn't think she's very hot, but on camera, she's actually very attractive.
Yes, and yeah, she is. And second off, that staff she carries. I've seen it in the teaser. It was on the side of her speeder when she was taking off. It wasn't when she was actually flying through. But that saber, or not saber, it could be a saber, I don't know. But that staff, could it be one of those from like the prequel trilogy, and what Jeb carries? Like, it's one of those staffs that has like not a lightsaber blade, but
like a shock staff.
Yeah.
Dude,
it could be
pretty badass.
It could be. Like, I was thinking that too. I mean, obviously we haven't seen what it does yet.
Yeah.
They may be keeping that as a surprise because we obviously know it's something. We've seen her with it now. What, 3 separate shots now?
3 separate shots, yeah.
Yeah.
But also the other cool thing that a lot of people pointed out, and it actually got confirmed because in one of the panels they actually showed like the costuming. If you look at Finn's costume, his belt loop is made to carry a lightsaber.
Which one's Finn?
Snap.
Who's Finn?
Finn is John Boyega.
John Boyega.
So you think he's a Jedi?
Yeah, everyone was like going, why does Finn's character carry a lightsaber? They actually confirmed that, Finn's costume, there's a reason why his belt is made to carry a lightsaber.
Interesting.
They just didn't come out and say for what reason, but they said that it is.
Maybe he won't be full-blown Jedi until later, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe in the second movie, third movie. Maybe he's just learning. Maybe Luke takes him under his wing or somebody.
My idea is, especially after thinking about it, when Luke says, when Luke's narration ends with, and the powers, oh, you have the power as well, I think he's talking to Finn. And you
But
find
he's
out
not family. He's black. I just threw you off, David.
You just threw me off. You just threw me off.
The Force has to go
unless
somewhere.
for some reason, Princess Leia in the last 30 years decided to go for Mandingo love instead.
Hey, might have actually fell in love with Lando.
So stupid.
Maybe that's why Princess Leia is not with Han.
Yeah,
She slept with
Chewie,
Lando.
we're home. All right, next shot, wide shot of the Stormtroopers, Imperial banner in the background, along with the snow landscape. So yes, the Imperial banner is slightly different, but it still is reminiscent, which again goes very hand in hand with military groups that change over the course of 20, 30 years. I mean, even our flag has changed over the course of 300, 400 years, the United States flag. So I think the only thing that really stood out to me on this, besides the banner, was the snow landscape in the background, showing that that things will take place, in fact, at another planet as well. I mean, we already know Kylo Ren was in the snow scene, was at a snow planet to begin with, because of the fact that the teaser, the first teaser, now we see more snow, some snow landscape. So, anything you guys want to add to that?
I just want to know who's standing up there talking.
Was there someone talking? I didn't notice that.
There was someone.
Yeah, there's somebody addressing the entire
hold on.
formation.
But you don't see him because he's almost like a speck right in the distance. But he's standing on a podium.
This is like, I've seen this before. This is like when a general or somebody in high command has to address the entire...
Oh, God. So loud. Sorry, guys.
We kind of skipped a shot like before that.
Oh, yeah. He's all in black, a black robe. You're right. Interesting. Maybe it's Palpatine.
Well, they did. Remember, they actually said that Palpatine comes back.
Yeah, possibly. We'll see. All right, so let's see. TIE fighters scream across screen, explosions within a hangar bay, discuss a new design. What do you guys notice? There is something different about the TIE fighters. I haven't really quite put my finger on. Is it the circular cockpit area? Is that what's different?
Actually,
they're completely different.
They're completely different. Even the wings are different.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to really see. I guess in order to see the difference pop out, I could totally tell something's different.
Yeah.
I just couldn't put my finger on. Hold on, let's look at this shot. God, that shot in the hangar bay is so freaking good.
And the thing that baffles me is like, okay, the only question I have about like this entire scene that had me so psyched, why is a First Order vehicle blowing up obviously Imperial equipment?
That's what I thought too. Well, I'm wondering
they pulled an Ezra, man.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Or like the shot before that shows Boyega, or after that shows Boyega taking off his Stormtrooper helmet. So I'm wondering if that's him getting escaping for some reason out of there.
That could be. It could be it.
I mean, that shot, is so cool looking.
What else is really cool about this shot, and I haven't seen in Star Wars before? Look at the explosions in the fire and the Stormtrooper flying through the air.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
They're definitely getting fucked up.
Yeah, like he's dead.
Yeah,
We're
dead.
gonna see
There's
dead.
no way they're alive.
And the thing about it is, this is JJ. This is all practical effects. I mean, he did a similar shot. People are like, oh, there's no way. There's explosions everywhere. It's too dangerous. Okay. If you break down, I watched the entire behind the scenes of Into Darkness. That shot where the entire council
volcano?
gets blown away is real.
Yeah.
Even the spaceship on the other side of the window that Benedict Cumberbatch's character is flying it is a real ship they made.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a full ship, but it's, the
It's
lights
part
are
of it.
real, the lights are attached, and there's a craft flying there, hovering with cable, and then all the explosions, the sets falling apart, the tables, all squib work, all real explosions. So don't doubt that this shot is probably 100% real, with maybe some
You have to have
CGI
some
to sweeten it up a little bit. But I guarantee you 85% of this shot is practical.
Because
they had to go to that stuntman that's in the trooper outfit that's getting blown through there and like, hey Joe, sorry buddy, this is gonna hurt, man.
Oh man,
this is really gonna hurt.
I love it, dude. And you see flame on the ground, like someone like torched an area. So it looks fantastic. I'm so excited to see what the Empire looks like too now. All right, next shot. We already talked about it. John Boyega takes off his Stormtrooper helmet. It makes you wonder. I mean, so far in these teasers, we've seen nothing but Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. They seem to be the focus. Are they the focus? Are they in fact the focus of Force Awakens? Is that kind of what we're seeing now?
Yes.
And is that,
I believe so.
Is that what are we going to be happy with that? Do we want as fans to see Luke, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Chewbacca? Don't we want them to be the focus?
You know what, man?
You can't.
Yeah, after the celebration, I'm really excited to see the 3 new characters of Poe, Finn, and Rey.
Yeah.
After like when you think about it, I was like you. Yeah, I want to see Luke, Han, and Leia, but their story is already done.
No, it's not.
Their story's done.
No,
Luke.
Well, man, if you think about it, it was kind of a miracle that they were able to get all these original characters together to make another movie.
Exactly.
I mean, anything could have happened in the past 30 years, and they gotta slowly, I think, trickle off, and the story's got to be taken over by the new characters.
No, I agree with that. I hope that we don't get like 10 minutes of screen time for Harrison Ford and 10 minutes of screen time for Mark Hamill. I want them. I don't mind the story being woven around Boyega and Daisy Ridley character. I don't mind that, but I want a lot of screen time for these new characters too. Like they can be a supportive cast, that's fine, but don't do a Palpatine in Phantom Menace and we see him for like 15 minutes.
15 minutes or like a couple seconds sometimes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that will kind of make that'll piss off a lot of fans. I don't care how good this movie is. There's gonna be people that be upset. Like, really, Harrison Ford's at the end where he says "Welcome home"? Like, God, bullshit.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think so either.
Honestly, think that's gonna happen in the first part of the movie.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's gonna be the ending of the first act. Honestly, I think that whole scene where Han Solo reunites with the Millennium Falcon and he meets up with Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. I think what we're seeing is pretty much from the first act of the movie.
Yeah, probably the first. What would you say?
30 minutes. 35 minutes. Yeah. We're gonna have to skip some shots here. Let's go to the Chrome Trooper, which
you better go to the Chrome Trooper. That thing has been
confirmed. It has been confirmed that it is in fact Gwendolyn Christie.
Yatta! I told you,
dude. Oh my God! Please don't be a Boba Fett character and like kill her off in one episode, in one movie, or in 10 minutes. Gwendolyn Christie is a phenomenal talent. She's a badass. She's convincing in her roles. If you watch Game of Thrones,
yes.
And
of course,
dude, you imagine just this big giant broad of a woman just fucking mowing down people with her gun. Like, how awesome would that be?
Well, I just want to know what her rank is and her affiliation. Like, obviously, she's an Empiric. Well, it's not the Empire anymore.
Dude, she has to be of high ranking. She has a cape.
Well, I've never seen a stormtrooper.
I love David's reasoning, dude. But I said the same thing in my mind.
I know everyone was.
I'm like, ooh, she has a cape. That means she's better than the rest.
She's better than the rest.
Like, well, absolutely, that means nothing. Look at Lando. He had a cape and he was nothing.
Dude, Lando was badass. He was a leader of a city. He was.
Oh man, but he also has one in Rebels where he's a farmer. Oh man. All right, so we all can agree that slow motion shot of her just walking was so good, dude.
That was so good, dude. I mean, that character looked badass. Everyone was like thinking that it was a shadow trooper at first, like one of the classic dark troopers.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, ECU.
That's what I thought. But then
when they announced that it was like Gwendolyn Christie, that's her character, I'm like you. I don't want her to become like a Boba Fett type character.
Yeah.
That character looks too badass to actually be it.
We have one thing going for us, guys, and that's all these characters are potential spinoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to be quick to kill characters to be like, okay, if this character does good, we're gonna end up doing a story on them. So all right, let's move on to BB-8s and let's talk about the complete 180 that the trolls did with this character. I mean, when the teaser came out, there was meme after meme, talking shit about.
Oh my God, it's a soccer ball.
Yeah, making fun of how horrible he looked. It's stupid, and then it was announced the next day that he wasn't CGI, losers.
Yeah.
He was, and then once people found out, oh my God, that's not CGI, that's a practical effect, everybody's, oh, he's so cool, he's awesome. I'm like, you guys are idiots.
The best moment in the opening
Fucking
panel,
sheep.
the
Exactly,
opening
sheep.
panel on Celebration was when BB-8 rolled out,
Yeah.
and basically J.J. Abrams said, "Yeah, he's not a CGI. He's literally every single scene that BB-8's in, that robot is right there."
Yeah.
That's why when I saw the scene of BB-8 just leaning around the corner, dude, it just reminds me how badass that technology has become, where you can get a robot like that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
When you see it on stage, oh my god, the thing can move everywhere. It's smaller than R2.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's smaller than R2. It's probably about half his size.
Interesting. Do you think so? You think it's a droid that belongs to do you think it belongs to Daisy Ridley's character or
I'm thinking
Boyega?
that it's probably going to be owned by Faye, who's Daisy Ridley.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the last two shots. The Falcon flies through the war-torn wasteland being chased by TIE fighters.
I think DOS is almost close to climax.
Fantastic. And I love that fast zoom shot. That's JJ style. And it was nice to see that he didn't forsake his style. Because that's something has George Lucas ever done, a fast zoom shot in an action scene? No. Never. That's JJ. And I was a little disappointed not to see some lens flare. And I know that because I think artists should stay to their style. There was zero lens flare in this teaser. None. And I think that might have been, I think we're going to get some, honestly, in Force Awakens. But I think he was smart to just so that kind of, why give the trolls something to feed on?
Yeah.
So just put all the shots that don't have any lens flare. But it was nice to see. 'Cause that's why I love JJ as a filmmaker. And I love Star Wars. And that's why to me, JJ was a perfect decision for Lucasfilm to choose him to direct, because I think he's a good filmmaker. So and because I like him as a fan, I want to see a little bit of his feel, his film. That's why you hire someone like him to do something.
Yeah.
You don't hire JJ and then tell him, JJ, listen, we want you to mimic everything Lucas has done. No, you hire him to stay true to Star Wars, yes, but also we want to see some unique JJ flair as well. Not lens flare, but flair as in style. But we want to see some of that.
Did you notice how well...
No, you heard it. Mike said flare. He said lens flare.
But did you notice how well that JJ style fit well with, during that shot, they cut to the Chrome Trooper inside the pilot of the TIE Fighter.
Was it a Chrome Trooper there too?
I don't think so.
I mean, look.
I think that was just a normal pilot.
I thought at first when I first saw it, it's the same Clone Trooper that we actually see.
No.
Looks different.
I don't know.
It looks like the ones from the battles in the original.
But either way, the fact
David could be right. Hold on.
The fact that basically JJ's style, just like what you said, Mike, all of a sudden you cut to the classic shot of Star Wars, which is that cockpit scene.
The cotton picking scene.
The cotton picking scene.
That's racist.
The cockpit scene.
Oh.
The cockpit scene of the pilot.
Cotton picking.
That's classic Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's like a Darth Vader shot.
Yeah.
And
we've seen shots like that in Rebels too.
Yeah, and it flows really well with his style.
Yeah, that whole sequence is just fantastic, man. And to see I love it, dude. The Millennium Falcon going, dogfighting again with the TIE fighters and running away. I already kind of got the idea that I could totally be wrong, but I got the fact that that's where Han Solo meets up, and that's them leaving the city, leaving the planet now, trying to get away. That's what I got.
Yeah.
So, anything you guys want to add to that shot before we move to the final one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
DOS is waiting to actually get off.
All right, Han Solo and Chewie. And I knew it, dude. I was like, okay, we got to see somebody. We got to see somebody. We got to see somebody. And then it goes to black, and you just hear...
Chewie, we're home.
It made the whole trailer.
And DOS just finished.
Well, literally.
No, I stood up and I seriously had goosebumps. I was grinning ear to ear. I felt like a little kid running around.
Yeah.
It made me feel like a little kid.
Well, just hearing Hans, that's when I started crying. Yeah, That's when I started crying.
And then when you hear Chewie's roar,
yeah,
it sounds awesome.
JJ, and this is why I love JJ. It's we got more, and this is why this is what we're going to get, because he's a fan. And even though I love George Lucas, one thing George Lucas never did is he never gives. He never. I hate to say that because I love George Lucas, but he never did anything as, "Hey guys, this is just for you because I love you." JJ giving that shot of Chewie and saying, "Chewie, we're home," was his way of saying, "Guys, this is Star Wars and we've returned to form. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the Star Wars. I'm giving you the original feeling that everybody wanted, back to the original trilogy days." But I got that's why it was such a well-picked shot. And that's why I think we're going to get a lot of this in Star Wars from JJ, because it's a fan doing what fans want, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I'm sorry, but I don't think George Lucas would have put a shot like that if he was doing this, of Chewie, we're home.
And the beautiful part about this trailer, too, is kind of like they didn't have to give us anything story-wise. I mean, think about it.
Well,
did we get anything about story? No. We got what we wanted to see.
We did get a little bit in that last shot with Chewie. We did get the idea that, because there's rumors that they never had the Falcon.
Yeah.
That the Falcon hasn't been in their possession for the past 30 years or whatnot.
Yeah, that they've been pilots on another ship and they just now got back to the Falcon. Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, so when they say Chewie, we're home, you get the idea that was the first time they've stepped foot on the Falcon.
Yeah,
which is so good, man, because it reminds me of what they did, even though people hated Superman Returns. I loved it. And one of the greatest moments in Superman Returns is when the world realizes Superman is back, just like us. And he stops that airplane for the first time. The entire world sees him stopping that airplane on that baseball field. And it was like, holy shit, Superman's back. And the whole world was in the movie. The world was sharing our excitement as fans. And that's what I get from this shot. It's like Han Solo, Chewie stepping foot for the first time back in the Millennium Falcon, and we are, for the first time in 30 years, going back into the Falcon.
Back into the Falcon.
It's such a good... It's a love letter, man. To me, this teaser is almost a love letter to the fans.
It is. And also, on top of that, the one thing that I would have to say, just on my final note on the ending...
Well, let's do it then. The final thoughts on the entire teaser.
The entire teaser was just phenomenal. It did what it needed to do. It showed us new characters, get us hyped up. Don't give us anything about story. Let us see the characters that we want to see, and end on a good note. And honestly, for me, this ended on a hell of a good note, because not only did it leave, just like how we all wanted it, but like for me also, this confirms that why it was important to get rid of the ECU in the very beginning, because so many people pointed this out. We would not have that shot if ECU was there. You know why? Chewie wouldn't be there.
Yeah, he's dead.
Chewie would have been dead.
And yes, exactly. Exactly.
And like, this just confirms that the reason why this is important, that the ECU gets removed, is because, hey, you want your characters back, they have to be back, but there has to be a sacrifice. Just like going back to like what JJ said in the panel, but prior to showing the teaser, he told everyone the risk is worth it. The risk will be worth it. He guaranteed that. And honestly, I have faith in him. Yeah. He's right.
Yeah.
After seeing this trailer, he's completely right.
Awesome. Dustin, final thoughts on the trailer. Or the teaser trailer.
Need a towel?
I don't even know. It's just so great. And just like you said, Mike, this last shot just ties it all together, and I like the little subtle like attitude and nod that Han gives. He's like, "We're home," and he starts smiling and nodding. It kind of ties the entire trailer together. As shit, I don't even know what I'm saying, man. It was just really good. I think I just came. I just came again.
Oh man! All right. So going on with adding to what Dustin and you said, David, I think the entire package was designed as a love letter to the fans. To not give away too much, but also say, guys, look at this. This is what we all wanted. And I include JJ, as I said again, as one of us. Imagine a fan who really understands Star Wars taking over. And the teaser was strategically set up as a foreshadowing of things to come, as in handing the torch. The opening 40 seconds was designed to show you guys that the torch will be handed to the new cast, but at the same time, we're going to see familiar faces and familiar themes. And Han Solo and Chewie talking, it was us. That's the fans. We've returned home. We're home. And that's how it ended so beautifully. And this teaser and that line will always be remembered in 15 years when we're talking about Star Wars Episode 20. Okay? We're going to remember this teaser and remember what it meant. This teaser will be remembered in cinematic history because of what it meant to the fans.
Yes.
And I thought JJ, if obviously he had a hand in cutting this together, and it's fantastic. And it just keeps on reaffirming that the new Star Wars universe, even though I love old Star Wars, there's a lot of debate whether or not Disney would be doing a good job now that they own it. It goes to show you that everything they have planned, everything they've done so far has been pretty damn cool. We've seen even the comic book series. If you read what they're doing with that, it's pretty effing cool.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
It is.
So, which we're going to get into that a bit more in the next segment of the show. On that note, we do need to conclude this segment of the show. And we will come back and in a moment and we'll talk about the Star Wars Celebration and a bunch of news on Star Wars Rogue One, Star Wars Rebels. Don't go nowhere. We will be right back.
Don't go nowhere. More Back to Tank is coming right up.
Okay, 250 was unheard of at that time, pretty much. So you're shooting low film speed, 50, 100, and the lower the film speed, the more light you need for exposure. So not only were they shooting, this is why I admire this movie so much. This isn't a big budget movie, but they had night shots. Dude, I would say 40% of the movie is night. Okay, there's 40, it's 35. 35% of the movie is night. And they had real lighting that they used. And I mean, man, it's just when you think about the cinematography, that's a nightmare back in the 60s and 70s. A nightmare for the camera crew.
Yeah.
And the fact that they pulled it off and the night shots looked remarkable. I mean, this is why this is one of my favorite movies. Not just because it's great, just great performance by Van Cleef and the style is cool, but just the overall package and knowing what they had to do to get the shots they wanted wasn't an easy task, man.
Right.
Listen up, cowboys and cowgirls. You can now listen to Weird West Radio every Sunday, only on Rain Man Digital.
Hello, Rain Man Digital listeners. The new Rain Man Digital app is now available in the Google Play Store. You can now take the entire Rain Man Digital Network on the go, anywhere you want to go, on your Android-based device. Whether you want to listen to Supernatural The Crossroads, The Rain Man Show, Critique Revolve, Weird West Radio, or Star Wars From the Back to Tank, it doesn't matter. You can take all those shows now on any Android device. So go to the Google Play Store and search Rain Man Digital and download the free app today. The app will also be available very soon for iPhones. So keep checking in. All right, we're back. Star Wars From the Back to Tank. You can find our shows past and present on the Stitcher app. Just search Star Wars From the Back to Tank or just Back to Tank. All right, so first bit of news. Let's start with some of the big stuff. And we touched on this briefly during the first segment, but let's talk Star Wars Celebration and some of the big... We'll be here for the next 5 days if we covered everything that was discussed at the Star Wars Celebration. But first, let's delve into one of the biggest things. And that is what we talked about briefly, about the speculation, the First Order and the Resistance. Okay, now, it has been confirmed, as I was saying, that the Empire is now known as the First Order, and the Rebel Alliance is known as the Resistance. It seems that the Force Awakens, the rebellion against the Empire, has become the Resistance, against the First Order. These new faction names and somewhat of what we see in the new teaser have sparked some thoughts, and that may indicate a bit about what occurred following the death of the Emperor. Let's first consider the name First Order. This is taken from StarWars7News.com, and some of his thoughts he has makes a lot of sense. And I concur with his thoughts. Now, let's first consider the name First Order. I'm sure that I'm not alone in thinking that this sounds rather reminiscent of the Nazi era in Germany in the 1930s and 40s, which we already know that a lot of George Lucas's inspirations on the military side of his movies has always been Nazi Germany and the Civil War.
Yes.
The American Civil War. So that's nothing new. And that's, again, it shows you that JJ and Team Lucasfilm are keen on staying true to the roots and inspirations of the Star Wars universe. It has similar cultish overtones to NSDAP terms like the Third Reich and New Order. And the shot from the new teaser of the Legion of Stormtroopers in front of the huge banner-draped balcony looks like it's straight out of the Triumph of the Will. The symbolisms here is not exactly subtle. I agree. If you really, this guy broke down the trilogy or the new scenes and really broke down from a political standpoint. And this is something we saw in Star Wars Rebels. We talked about that during the Star Wars Rebels edition about the rebel symbol. You see it all the time with groups. They cling on to symbols that meant something for another movement, if that makes sense. And you see the same thing happening again. And that's just real life. That's real life politics. That's the real life political landscape. Militaries do it constantly. I'm sure, Dustin, you know all about that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at Al Qaeda and ISIS and all those groups out there. They all are little factions off each other till they slowly become their own individual group. So it's gonna be fun to see what really the First Order is about and what their belief structure is. Okay, because at first we have an empire. Because you got to remember, the empire was formed based on the manipulation of Emperor Palpatine. Everything. Now, we don't have Palpatines pulling the strings, supposedly. Allegedly, we don't have that, as we know. So it's going to be interesting to see what truly happens to an Imperial army when their leader, who is pulling all the strings for everything, the entire universe, the known universe, and now that no longer exists. How would this empire form? How would their ideals change? And that's what we're going to see in this movie. Anything you want to add to that?
Pretty much, you hit it on the head.
Okay, now moving on to Star Wars Rogue One news. This will be the first film to fall into what they're branding as the Star Wars Anthology series. Okay, that is pretty nice, dude. That branding that they're going with, I was wondering how they're going to do that, because as we always saw, Star Wars Episode 1, Star Wars Episode 2, what was going to be the branding of the new standalone films. And it has been announced. It was announced during Star Wars Celebration. Kathleen Kennedy said this is something that that George Lucas actually had an idea for before he left and retired from Star Wars. It was his idea originally to do this with standalone films. So according to Kathleen Kennedy, George Lucas was already talking about doing standalone films.
Yeah.
And his idea was to call them anthology. So now, instead of Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace, you're going to have Star Wars Rogue One anthology. So that's going to be kind of cool. And man, the branding and the artwork looks gorgeous.
It looks gorgeous, dude. But on top of that, I love the fact that they announced that Star Wars Rogue One is going to be a war film. That's what they absolutely said, is like, it's not going to be like it. The feel of it isn't going to be like Star Wars, The Force Awakens, or even the past movies. This is straight up going to be like a Saving Private Ryan war film.
Oh,
so
my
it's
God.
going to be brutal, because like there's not going to be like Jedis flying around. There's not going to be any of that mysticism. They're just going to go down gritty and show a straight up, war film. And
Did you see the trailer?
They showed a teaser. The teaser didn't show much.
The teaser didn't show much, but
No,
I have
you
some
just
audio.
hear Obi-Wan's voice.
Yeah, I'll play it right now. Hold on.
But did you not see what's in the background?
Yeah, hold on. This is a pirated video from the event. It's the only thing online. You got to remember that Lucasfilm signed a deal with the studio that owns Mission Impossible. They can't release this trailer yet.
Yeah, they can't release
because until after the summer when Mission Impossible Rogue, is that what it's called? Yeah, Rogue Nation comes out. Then they will release it. So we're not going to see this teaser.
For more than 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and
You
justice.
see a camera scraping over like a canopy of trees, like a jungle, while Obi-Wan's voice is talking.
In the old Republic,
camera goes up, and you see a TIE fighter flying over and towards. What do you see in the background? The Death Star.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Such a good shot, dude.
before the dark times, before the Empire.
Okay, that 60-second teaser already feels different than anything we've seen before. But at the same time, it still feels like Star Wars.
It still feels like Star Wars. But the thing is, it felt so epic in scale because, like, especially when they made the announcement that overall, this is what we know about Rogue One. It's going to center around how the rebellion gets the first plans of the Death Star. Yeah. And it's going to be set in a war film. So we're going to, and the main character, I forgot the actress that right now they only signed one actress to it. And it's a female lead. Yeah, she's apparently leader of the rogue, the rebel squad that goes after the plans.
Yeah. The spin-off film will take place in the years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and will have a darker tone than the numbered entries in the series, so the episodes. So it's already going for a darker tone.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they stay true to Star Wars, because they need to stay true to Star Wars, but also do something fresh, unique, and totally different. Now, these standalone films, will they be in fact standalone films in the regards that it'll just be one and done, or will they they go into maybe sequels of their own?
No, they specifically stated during the panel that the anthologies are going to be standalone stories.
So I know, so the standalone stories are standalone from episodes 1, 2, and 3, but will they have their own sequels?
I see what you're saying.
Well, I can't imagine
that I don't know.
Yeah, because I can't imagine, like, let's say Rogue One's a hit, and they're like, no, guys, just one, sorry. Like, I don't know.
I would be so disappointed if that character, we never get to see that character again.
Yeah. I mean, they also may say, no, we're doing one movie and done, because you're going to see everything connect anyway. So they're all like sequels in a way. So, I mean, I could see them doing that. But yeah, looking forward to it. I thought it was a good move to put, Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan's voice in that teaser, because it really just sets the tone.
It sets the tone. And
well, it makes you wonder now in the teaser. It's not taking place immediately after the fall of the Republic and the Jedi Order. The Death Star is complete.
Yeah,
it shows in the trailer that the Death Star is complete. So I'm wondering if it's going to take place like minutes, hours, weeks before New Hope, and if so,
probably months. Because if you think about it, they have to get the plans to Princess Leia.
Well, you remember what Darth Vader says to Princess Leia? He's all, I monitored several transmissions being beamed to this ship.
Yeah.
So if the transmissions were just beamed, so I'm wondering if it's going to cover the course of maybe 2 weeks, 4 months, 6 months, and then end right where New Hope picks up, where we actually see Leia's Corellian Corvette being attacked.
Yes.
How dope would that be?
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That would be what a way to connect it, man. And then you see Darth Vader. Like, he doesn't need to be in it, but he has to have presence. This is taking place during his time. He has got to have a presence in this movie.
Yeah. And one of they showed art pieces and art pieces that storyboards that were potential storyboards for Rogue One. They actually showed like this one shot where it was, I kid you not, it looked like they're going for a Saving Private Ryan shot where you see all the rebel soldiers running the field.
That's awesome.
And explosions are going everywhere. Oh. And I'm like going, this is going to be like really graphic. It's not going to be, like what you said earlier, Doss, about seeing the stormtrooper get blown up by the TIE fighter.
Yeah.
We're going to see like honest to God, like war damage. People getting blown to smithereens and everything.
Yeah. I'm wondering if we're gonna see, if we're ever gonna see a hardcore Darth Vader scene, this is the movie we'd see it in. Meaning, what if there's a scene where he's just mowing down these rebel troopers, like these people are trying to, like, he's like, leads his scene. Let's say he's introduced in the first act, because you have to, in some way, his presence, Darth Vader, we got to make sure he's on this ship, we got to get to this place, whatever. I'm not writing it right now, but whatever. Let's say we finally get to see the Darth Vader we wanted to see with modern filming technology, and we just see him in this jungle mowing down and rebel people do with the saber, and maybe it would lend to the darker tone.
It would lend to the darker tone.
Kind of like in the comic where he takes down an AT-AT by himself.
Oh, so good.
It was
that was awesome.
So good. All right. Next on the next note, what you brought those comic books. If you guys out there aren't reading those comic books, I was a little up in the air about them. But the fact, I love how everything that happened in Star Wars number 1, 2, and 3 so far is connecting with the Darth Vader comic book as well. Like, you actually see flashbacks of what happened in Star Wars number 2 that's happening in Vader number 1. And one thing I like as well is they're adding to the world of Star Wars in the fact that they're actually answering questions that you had. When did Darth Vader find out that Luke, the rebel pilot that blew up the Death Star, when did he start suspecting that this is actually his son? And you could see how they're slowly telling that story, because he's already interested in finding out. Like, you see his thought process, and it adds so much more to New Hope.
Yeah.
Because to this point, you don't know why. He doesn't know Luke was on the Death Star as well with Obi-Wan. You never really have the idea whether or not Darth Vader knew.
And on top of
all he says is, oh, the Force is strong with this one, when he's outside trying to battle him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool what they're doing. They are really beefing up the development of Vader, and also seeing how the fact that he's being treated like a little bitch by the Palpatine for failing the Death Star.
Because you got to figure what did Palpatine? How did Palpatine react to having the Death Star blown up?
What do you mean they blew up the Death Star?
Dude, I've been working on this for 30 goddamn years, Annie. Annie, what did you do?
What did you do?
30 years we've been planning this, Annie. And you, in one spectacular failure, you and Tarkin just drop the ball. God damn it! If we just made that hole just a slightly smaller, the proton torpedoes could never have gone through.
Look, Master, shut up with that master shit. Get out of my sight.
Oh, he's such a disappointment, Annie. Oh, now come. Well, at least when you were little, I could punish you. Oh, come sit on my lap.
Okay, come on, Pat Roberts.
I know, that's what it sounds like now. All right, next Star Wars Rebels news. Darth Vader, Palpatine, and another 1-hour movie to launch season 2. Which will premiere this summer. So, and in bigger news, James Earl Jones is returning to do the voice work for Darth Vader yet again. Okay, let's talk about the Star Wars Rebels trailer first. First off,
oh my god,
it's everything. It looks fantastic, but it's everything we said we didn't want to happen because we were scared.
Yeah. Well, we didn't want it to happen too soon.
Well, I don't know, man. Putting Kanan and Ezra against Vader, I mean, I love that it wasn't even a competition. Because it can't be. It just cannot be a competition. An untrained Padawan training another Padawan cannot go up against Darth Vader. And I like how it was a simple... I mean, the fact that he's using the Force to put that the lightsaber up to Ezra's throat is just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you can't do anything. I mean...
That's what I'm like going,
you can't do anything, just stop.
Screwed.
Yeah, now... Dave Filoni is showing his Clone Wars love by, again, making sure that we all know that Ahsoka is, in fact, joining the cast full-time.
Yes.
She is joining full-time as a regular cast member, and she's bringing some friends. She's bringing some old-school familiar faces. Captain Rex, and who's the other guy? Rex and one of his fellow clone troopers. I forgot his name. They will be returning, but that makes you wonder that someone brought this up on the internet. I think it was Lance said that weren't the clone troopers embedded with a 20-year lifespan?
Yeah. And that's why everyone said is like when they saw Rex.
I don't know if it was 20 years. It might have been 30 years. I can't remember. But I know they were embedded with at the time an expiration date where they die.
Yeah, and two big questions: the lifespan. How did Rex survive this long?
Right.
And then how did he fight against the Order?
Yeah. Well, that's again is going to answer something that I've been wanting to know for a long time. Yeah. Was Execute Order 66 as simple to the clone troopers? Was it as simple as just following orders? Or was there some type of embedded manipulation? I want to get those answers. Like, was it almost a form of hypnosis where Execute Order 66 it automatically snaps something in their brain that they follow orders no matter what? Because that always irked me because they were friends with the Jedi, and then without questioning, they just boom, we're gonna kill all of you guys.
Well, yeah, it's like Obi-Wan. He's riding on that beast or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's Cody, Commander Cody.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you dropped this. And he's like, hey, thanks. And then he's running up, and Cody's like, okay, blast him.
Okay. But the one thing that was really cool during the Rebels panel that I saw, Dave Filoni hinted at there's a reason why Kanan doesn't exactly, when he gets to meet Rex, he doesn't like Rex.
Well, dude, they killed their people. It's a Jedi. I would have. They better.
No, there's Dave Filoni literally said to the crowd, there's a reason why Kanan specifically doesn't like Rex. He doesn't specifically like Rex.
Yeah. Well, that goes into here. Questions started up immediately after the second screening of the trailer at Star Wars Celebration. One question that popped up was how Rex and his clone troopers survived. Okay, so they're gonna get into that. To which Filoni explained that the Five's arc in Season 6 of Clone Wars was crucial to Rex's survival. I guess it had something to do with the Clone Wars, which I didn't finish watching. As Fives told Rex about the Order 66 conspiracy, he also notes that Kanan is not on good terms with Rex due to the memories of Order 66.
Yes.
And a distrust for clone troopers. Ahsoka's relationship with Darth Vader is a crucial part of the story of Rebels. Thank God.
Yes.
So maybe she will in fact find out that this is Anakin. And it goes back, there's gotta be, just like Obi-Wan sensed his master, Obi-Wan, when he's on the ship, Ahsoka, when she comes face to face with Darth Vader, she may, at great distances, may not realize that Darth Vader is in fact her master. But when they become in proximity of each other,
she's going to find out.
She's going to have to sense it that this is Anakin. She has to. I mean, it's her master.
Yeah, and then she's going to die.
Yeah. That'd be sad. Filoni also noted that Cad Bane and other Clone Wars characters would be included if the characters could fit into the narrative wall. So he wants to bring back some of his clone troopers to help satisfy some of the Clone War fans.
Yeah, and I mean, he brought up a good point, is kind of like he wants to stay true to the series by telling the story of Ezra, Kanan, that whole group right there. And he made the comment during the panel that if he were to actually throw in the any other characters from Clone Troopers, it might take away from their story. And I like the fact that he came out and said that, because it makes sense. Yeah, we all want our very favorite characters to come back and show up again, but only if it works. I don't want, I don't want to see Darth Maul if Darth Maul coming back takes away from the story of Rebels.
Here's some quick highlights from Dave Filoni's Rebels 2 panel. Okay, it says Filoni took about 3 months just to outline the Season 2 storyline direction. I'm happy with that. Also, they said that he doesn't want the show to be just about Ahsoka, but knew, this has to do with why he included her, but knew her story had to be included. So we are going to see, she's officially joined the cast. We're going to see some development on her character.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, episode count will be 22 episodes this year. Not including the movie, the 1 hour movie. And Star Wars Rebels does in fact premiere this summer. I don't think there's an exact date yet, but it does come out in the summer with a 1 hour movie event. So much Star Wars, man. And Star Wars Rebels, if you guys are not watching Star Wars Rebels, you need to. It is that good. I'm so impressed with what they did. Dave Filoni has proven that he is the lesser George Lucas. The guy's amazing. Has done a great job. And he even said that at the panel, everything that they write, record, direct, and draw is for George Lucas in his honor. So everyone, I mean, let's not bash George Lucas. I mean, people out there, I know I saw a lot of like negative when the new trailer came out, like, oh, this is way better than George Lucas. I'm like, first off, it's a minute and 49 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, you don't know that.
You don't know that.
Number two, George Lucas created this universe that we love. Okay, and everybody is paying tribute. Everybody that follows will never be George Lucas. They're paying tribute to what he created.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't hate the God, hate the preachers.
Exactly. Exactly. So on that note, we do need to end the show today. We went way over, but hopefully we shared some information.
God, there's so much information.
There's so much. There's so much. There's way more than we can possibly throw into a show. So
we didn't even cover like all of what happened in Celebration.
Nope. It's just too much, dude. It's too much. But we did hit, those were the big topics. The First Order and the Resistance, of course, the Star Wars trailer, which we spent over an hour breaking down, Star Wars Rogue One news, and Star Wars Rebels news. I think those 4 things were the biggest highlights of the Star Wars Celebration. Would you agree?
4 of the big things, yeah.
There was Battlefront news.
Yes.
And we'll kind of discuss that as we get more and more news on that. That's the Star Wars video game.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll get into that on a later show. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Again, you can find us on Stitcher Smart Radio. Just search Star Wars From the BACTA Tank. Thank you, and good night.
May the Force be with us.
Thank you for listening to From the BACTA Tank. From the BACTA Tank is executive produced by Michael Flores and Dustin Lucas. Hosted by Michael Flores, David Zabal. You can find out more about our show by going to www.fromthebactatank.com. You can also find us on Twitter at FromBactaTank, as well as Facebook, facebook.com/FromTheBactaTank.